black people to shine, want Asians to shine, women to shine, you know, which is great. But no one can shine in an African country except a black person. Every other country has to be indigenous. I don't know. I don't even want to read this anymore, man. I think as in 5 vast percent of Capcom now has the opportunity to ignore the past and completely reinvent its shot. No, we don't need to reinvent anything. Stop this modern audience bullshit. Stop this modern crap, because we can't even enjoy entertainment anymore. Modern writing, modern storytelling sucks.
Welcome back to the channel, everyone. I'm Saladino. This is IGN poisoning the well. They did it with Resident Evil 4. I mean, journos overall did it, whining and complaining about the Ashley upskirt moments.
Hey, what are you looking at?
And it worked. Capcom, not only did they change the upskirt moments, they took away Ashley's skirt altogether. They put her in skirts instead. And then you look at Spider-Man. The media started complaining about the police presence in Marvel's Spider-Man. Spider-Man should be a Cap, right? So they complained about that. And in Spider-Man 2 Electric Boogaloo, Insomniac took the cops out, basically. You know, they even turned the main cop you deal with in the first game, Yuri, they turned her into Wraith, which is probably something they was going to eventually do, but probably not in the first sequel. Devs will always listen to the media's complaints and ignore fan feedback. The gaming press, so-called narrative consultancy groups like Sweet Baby Inc., all of these people are just sensitivity readers. They're not fans, they're not artists. They're people who are so anxious and mentally ill that they are overly sensitive and take pretty much anything as a microaggression.
And I'm not saying that white people in the industry are creating unsafe environments. I'm not saying that. That is not what I'm saying. I am saying that sometimes it is hard to work with white people because they think that something may be okay, but it was really a microaggression.
These people have problems with microaggressions. When they talk about, they wanted to have a safe environment, they mean safe, literally safe from what they perceive as microaggressions. So of course, they're going to have a big problem with a white man killing black zombies, even though this isn't a big deal for gamers. For us, for gamers, we're just looking at it from the perspective of, well, here's the latest location that's been affected by zombies, right? It's a country in Africa. They've done this in Spain. They've done this in Antarctica. They've done it in America. There have been black zombies in previous games. I mean, famously in Resident Evil 2, you kill Will Smith.
And pretty much all the doors are locked. Except for this one. So this is an important door. Scary music. What the?
Oh, man.
Will Smith!
Oh, wow!
So they're saying it's okay to kill Marvin, but it's not okay to kill hundreds of just mindless zombies you don't even get to know. These people have no business in this hobby. They are activists who, even if they're aware that most people wouldn't care, don't care, and don't think about these political issues that they have with these games, they still have to do this.
Everything is sexist, everything is racist, everything is homophobic, and you have to point it all out.
Now, to be fair, personally, I don't even want them to remake Resident Evil 5. I'm actually a huge fan of the game, and I played it a bunch of times. I've played it with my brother on co-op. I've also played it single player. But see, the big problem is, in this time, in this day and age, Capcom would absolutely ruin Sheva and Excella. Both of them would be nerfed to hell. And Sheva would become insufferable. She'd constantly be checking Chris on his privilege, whining about her people, blah, 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 blah. And Excella, she probably wouldn't even be in the game anymore. Forget just the male gaze aspect of the character. You know, she's like built. She's a brick house. But she's also in this subservient relationship with a toxic male. Because essentially she was Wesker's Harleen. You know, but with those bazookas, those tits, that juicy ass, and the fact that she's dedicated to a man, There's no way they wouldn't ruin her the way they ruined Harley. Man, one of my all-time best tweets. And too bad I got banned. I might try to get unbanned now that Elon's taken over. But one of my all-time best tweets, got a lot of likes and retweets, was Albert Wesker is so evil, he doesn't give a fuck about pussy. That nigga had Excella walking around, spilling out all over the place, but he didn't even look at her. He stayed on that villainy steez. Yeah, I don't want them messing RE5 up. There's no point in remaking it if you're just going to rewrite it and make it something else. You know, this Sweet Baby Inc. monstrosity where Chris is no longer in it. Or if he is, Chef is there to talk down to him. You know, she's got no tits, she's got no ass, she's wearing these loose military fatigues, she's got a mental illness haircut, and you can forget the tribal costume skin that she had in the first game, or the sexy secretary one, or any of the other hot skins that Sheva did have or could have, especially with the graphics we got these days. You know, that's one of the things I hate about this modern age with this woke bullshit is the fact that we've got some of the best technology ever, but devs can't use it to make even better, hotter women. It's insane. I can't even imagine what the point would even be remaking RE5 if it's not RE5. And the thing is, this idiot at IGN, and I'm really tired of these white people being fake offended on my behalf. This idiot's not even taking into account that a storyline of some evil corporation testing out harmful bioweapons on an African village makes perfect sense. Especially if your ideology is all about marginalized people being exploited. But for these idiots, they only want to complain about racism in articles or tweets. They don't want fiction showing it or trying to tackle it in any way. There is one thing that I would call racist or partly racist about RE5, or at least sus. There's that moment early in the game when you're in the first part of that village, you're with Sheva, and all of a sudden there's this lily white snowflake, this little snow bunny in a black dress, white girl, blonde hair, real pale, screaming and hollering, hooping and hollering, talking about, oh my God, help me. And there's a bunch of black guys chasing her. I guess they're trying to give her the Las Plagas or whatever. Guess you could make a lot of black jokes about that, but so that one is maybe iffy. I would change that and not have it be this little snowflake being chased by these guys. But to be honest, I would rather they remade Code Veronica.
Whoa, what power!
There's actually a lot they can improve with that game, especially with Steve. Now, there's something about Code Veronica that they would absolutely mess up though, too. And that's, Alfred Ashford. Try saying that 3 times fast, but old Alfred. We probably all seen this where people call him a transphobic character. You know, but these people are idiots. It's the same thing like they're doing with, Resident Evil 5, calling it racist because they're black zombies in an African country. It's just projection, and it says more about them and how they think than anybody else who played these games. Alfred is not a transphobic character because Alfred is not trans. Just because you cross-dress, it doesn't make you trans. Alfred doesn't have gender dysphoria. Alfred literally thinks he's his sister. That's not dysphoria or him living his best life in his gender truth or whatever. He's a psychopath who was so in love with his sister, he thought he became her. But this is the problem with woke. It's just sensitivity reading. It's not about being aware of any social issues. It's just this thing where activists who are overly sensitive and who have no real power in the world are not committed to addressing real life issues. These are just people who are trying to get into Hollywood or big time journalism who've decided that geek media is the best stepping stone. It's so obvious in the way that so many people in gaming and in the gaming press hate the customer base so much. When customers complain, people like Chris Kendrick start freaking out, worried that it's going to hurt their future employment opportunities. These people are not artists. They are activists. They think it's fun and glamorous to LARP as writers, but they don't have anything of value to say but cry about the male gaze and racism in video games because a country in Africa has black zombies. And somehow, black people are supposed to be too stupid to handle the idea that gamers around the world, including themselves, are playing a game set in Africa, and a white man and his fine-ass black woman partner are killing them in order to survive. This same scenario has played out in game after game. The only difference with RE5 is that the zombies are mostly black. But infantilizing black people, pretending that we have a problem with this, is just IGN appointing themselves as white saviors. And they know they're full of it too. Which is why they lock the comments on Twitter. They're not talking to gamers. They're talking to Capcom and their friends in the press and in the gaming studios and the publishers. These outlets know they have no power or authority over gamers. They don't want to hear what we think about their stupid Resident Evil 5 is racist take, even from black players, because they don't want gamers to be able to decide what we will or won't play. The only power they have is the power companies like Capcom willingly keep giving them. It's such a weird place to find yourself in as a customer, to know that people who aren't fans of the things you love and who actually hate you and the things you love and hate you for what you love get to tell the companies you'd happily give all your money to what their customers get to experience and what you get to play.
Wouldn't you rather be back in America than a place like this?
Not necessarily. Some people might think America has its own dark side.
That doesn't sound very patriotic.
I'm just a realist. It's a capitalist society. Not everyone is cut out for that kind of constant pressure. Sure, there are opportunities to be had. But at what price? You gain, someone else loses.
You don't sound like any American I've ever met.
That's the great thing about us Americans. We're all different.